Back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down. He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown. He's showing it. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack. Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please, just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Water! Let's go, baby! Let's go! I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You're not shit. I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR family? Another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast form, iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I am Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Going to be talking all things boxing today on our live show with the full panel. Rob and Fu are here. Going to talk about sort of the whispers and rumors of a lot of the heavyweight world right now when it comes to Wilder, Tyson Fury, and AJ. Wilder sort of being whispered as going to be elevated soon to a franchise tag, and Dylan White going to be elevated perhaps after he beats Oscar Rivas to a, air quotes, champion in the WBC. Tyson Fury coming out with a bunch of sort of news and rumors, first about obviously the fight with Deontay Wilder with the specific date he has talked about, and on top of that, his sort of in-between fight being mentioned as Trevor Bryan. Yes. Welcome to boxing. And AJ, some whispers out there, nothing concrete, nothing official, so a grain of salt, but some whispers about AJ maybe leaving Rob McCracken. So a lot of heavyweight news, let alone Canelo, Jaime Munguia is being talked about a lot. Just a lot in the boxing world since we kind of took a week off because I was sick. So we're here, we're live. Hit the like button, share the show, subscribe, patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Without further ado, pretty much the Han Solo of MCR, the co-captain here, second cousin twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, how you doing, man?
All good. Yeah. Not like the busiest, heaviest news cycle for boxing. It's all a lot of, I guess,
speculation.
Mike Oppinger's kind of feelings on things from his Q&A on the Athletic. Actual fighters saying things, but certain fighters that we maybe have learned over the years not to, believe straight off the bat. We'll let it sort of happen and see where how it actually falls. But things to talk about, things to discuss, little snippets, like you say, maybe rumors or speculation. But let's get it going.
And of course, without further ado, the Chewbacca of MCR, Mr. Fugati.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
Play my intro. Turn me up in the headphones. I'm feeling good, man. I'm ready to talk about some boxing. Obviously, we got a lot of topics that, like you said, nothing concrete, but lots of rumors out there about what's going on in the heavyweight division. So let's get after it.
Yes, let's get after it, as Fu says. And like Rob said, a lot of this is coming from Mike Coppinger's Q&A that he has started, obviously, with his new company he works with, The Athletic. Here's the link for it in the chat. But, of course, you do need a subscription for it, or for the outlet to see it. But if you have a subscription, if you want to see the link, you can do it right there, or you can just see it with us right here on YouTube. But Nathan asked, does White get a title shot if he beats Rivas, or will he wait even longer? Mike Compinger replied, WBC doesn't appear interested in following its own rules. I suspect they're trying to slap that ridiculous franchise champion tag on Wilder and try to slide White in as a regular champion, but enough is enough, blah, blah. I think this is... I pretty much of this mind that we're in this quasi state of like a Schrodinger's cat. Like, we don't know where this franchise championship status will go, but most are thinking and assuming it will go the way of the WBA super and regular designation of their belts. And this would just be another form of it with franchise and champion status. We've a lot of people in the industry, not only my competitor, I feel like everyone is saying that Deontay Wilder, perhaps the winner of Spence Porter, certain people that are marquee in name value will get this boost up in rating. Lomachenko if he beats Campbell. And I think with all intents and purposes, we all agree with that. Do we think there's really going to be any backlash, though? Fu, I'll go to you first. Like, obviously, do you think we're going to get a Deontay Wilder franchise championship status post Luis Ortiz, post Tyson Fury in some aspect? Or do we not? And on top of that, if we do get a franchise champion, is there any backlash to Wilder, Lomachenko, Spence, others being designated as that? Would there be a public outcry? Would there be an outcry from the media, a pushback? And will the WBC change their sort of own rules going forward? Or are we just in this new state?
I don't think they'll be one. I do think they will elevate Wilder to a franchise champion because I think they can kill two birds with one stone. They can look legitimate by giving White a real, like a belt, an opportunity for a belt. And then they'll maybe calm down part of the crowd that's upset with that whole situation. And then they also keep Wilder on the books, so to say, for making money off of his fights, and then they're collecting money everywhere. They've got all these different belts. I don't think there's going to be any backlash. I don't think journalists in the sport have that much integrity anyways. I think it's all about access journalism. It's not about, let's be real, right? It's all about getting access to fighters and promoters. It's not really about holding people accountable for stupid decisions. So I think it'll be business as usual. It'll roll out. We'll have one of these in like every weight class, and it'll make the sport even harder to unify or to know what the hell's going on with belts and who's got fights, and people just roll with it because it's our sport. It's what we do.
Rob?
Well, I'm just quickly looking at the announcement that they gave for Canelo, and it says Alvarez, they're bestowing the honor upon champion Alvarez due to his many accomplishments, which have positioned him as a major worldwide attraction in boxing, and in light of his unquestionable boxing career linked to our organization. Now, at the risk of sounding like a Wilder hater, a lot of people say he's had like two legitimate sort of opponents. Has he had this? Yes, he's been the WBC champion now. Was that his 9th defense?
I think so. Yeah,
8th, 9th, and he's joined a fairly elite, or quite a list of people that have done that. But it's questionable, right? Like the standard of it. And again, I don't want to come across as like, oh, here he goes, the Matchroom FC guy coming at Wilder. But if you're looking for franchise champion, I mean, Canelo, I'm not saying he deserves this honor. It's a ridiculous.
But the reasoning they use coincides with Canelo's actual career.
Yeah, it fits what he's done in his career, I guess. But I mean, if Spence wins it, are they going to give it him off the back of just winning it? It's crazy. It's like this rule 326 or whatever, or 3.26, which they apparently made up.
Subsection 5.
Like some big holiday in Hawaii, they came up with it. All right, how are we going to do this? How are we, how can we rinse Canelo of money permanently? What if he loses? So I don't know. I just, same with Lomachenko. Yeah, he's done great things in division, but he's just about to fight for the WBC belt. He hasn't had a long, distinguished career linked to the organization and things like that. So I don't know, but it's just
Rob. Unfortunately,
on the, like you said, the WBA regular super title and the regular title, and it's just another bout. It's another sanctioning fee, and these need to make money, and this is how they're going to go about it.
Yeah, I feel like, unfortunately, Rob, like the logic you're putting into the WBC's decision making just isn't there. You know what I mean?
The logic is there. They don't have that logic.
No, I mean, the logic that they are using is bullshit. So like, it's just like, it's nothing. Like, it's just words on a paper on a screen that they say in order to, like you say, get another sanction fee, get another way to make money, because now they're going to make a sanction fee from Dylan White being championship, or for in the middleweight scenario, more likely that's a real scenario right now. Jamal Charlo is going to give him another huge sanctioning fee for that belt. But digressing from this point, do we think like in a year's time every division has a franchise champion in the WBC? And again, I'm pretty sure you guys both answered it, but I just want to reaffirm it. We think there's no recourse, like there's no change, there's no outcry from the media, even though every media member has been pretty adamant they don't like this. You think there's actually going to be no material change or backlash to the WBC in this movement by them?
I think we said it. We for people who missed it, Patreon / the boxing. I forget which way around it is. Mixed Combat Radio / Patreon or Patreon, whatever. But anyway, we spoke about it, and it was kind of like what did we say? I completely forgot it now because you done air horns and shit.
I'm sorry. We're talking about the franchise championship tag, and like, will like the media do anything about it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we brought up about Suleiman saying about having an undisputed full title. You know, they're going to unify the interim and the and the full belt
At Super Bantamweight, Ray Vargas and Kameda, yeah.
And we'll have a unified WBC champion.
No, undisputed.
Yeah,
undisputed, unified WBC champion.
Yeah,
you know,
that's great, providing there are no other sanctioning bodies in the sport, because we finally find out who's the guy, right? You know, that he's the guy, not there's another 3 champions out there. With
Daniel Ramon sitting there like, what the fuck, man? And Manuel Navarre sitting there with the WBO belt like, man, I just beat Dogby twice. You're giving the undisputed status over there to your own guy. Shut up, Mauricio. Shut up.
Well, I also love
you can't use that word.
People create their own problem and then they fix it. You know, it's like, well, we don't have a consensus WBC belt holder, so they're gonna fight each other to be the unified, undisputed WBC champion. It's like, you created the problem. Like, quit creating these extra belts. Like, just you know, like, stop doing that, and you won't have to have these moments. You know, like,
don't do that, please. Stop.
It's like,
no,
do that. No, I don't know. And then you've got them testing, drug testing now, officials and judges.
And then what does that fucking prove? You know, like,
look, hold on, guys. We can't. We can't even trust the WBC to drug test their own fighters, let alone the people that they hire to be refs, judges, etc. Like, why? Like, why?
I believe Adelaide Bird has now dropped out of VADA.
That's a good one. It's just like the same people that are going to rally around the clean boxing program are going to bitch about this franchise tag. And that's why I think fundamentally things won't change. Because people don't even know what they're fighting against. They're just getting angry about random shit. You know what I mean? Like, they don't understand that the sanctioning bodies are a class of people that are severely, negatively hurting our sport, our community. You know, if people's lives are being put at risk because they're in the hands of these people, okay? And yet we're, you know, picking and choosing what awful thing we're going to care about them doing. No, that's all awful. We should all be outraged. by the Clean Boxing program because it's a front. It's bullshit. It's a phony program. It's a smokescreen. It's a way for them to not get sued. It's exactly what the UFC does with USADA, let's be honest.
I mean, just imagine this scenario. Eddie Hearn said regarding Dillian White and Rivas, there's big news coming, like whether it's this week or whatever. And there's obviously apparently the interim was going to be on the line and the mandatory spot, and they were hoping to get some kind of time scale for this mandatory fight that would be for Wilder. In the meantime, they maybe upgrade Wilder to franchise champion, and then upgrade Dillian White to full regular WBC champ. Do they mandate that fight? Say they do. Dillian White is now fighting the franchise champion. As we know, the franchise champion cannot lose his title until he retires, to which he then becomes the emeritus champion. So Dillian White, if beating Wilder, wins a WBC diamond belt.
But he's not the franchise champion.
No, but the diamond belt gives you a mandatory spot to the guy that's holding the regular / old WB, which is potentially himself.
Yeah, it's himself.
So, I mean, look,
it's a headache, man.
One good thing come out of this.
So
wait, hold on. There's a good thing.
Oh yeah, they invented the Pearl Belt and decided that Amir Khan versus Goyat or whatever his name was, when it fell through, and they made it Billy Dib. They went, no, come on, this fight doesn't deserve to be for the WBC Pearl Belt.
Did the other one though?
We'll just make this for a top 5 ranking. So I'm enough now. I just Dillian White gets upgraded and he says, do you want to see my Riddick Bowe impression? Because this fucking piece of shit is going in the bin.
But he won't. Because they care too much about those belts. That's the problem. Like, they care too much about those belts. Like, what'll happen is we're gonna get a ridiculous, undisputed, unified WBC heavyweight fight, and they'll put it like they do on Tyson Fury fights now, where they say, "Hey, this fight is for the lineal heavyweight championship."
But no. But Food, that can't happen. Food, that can't happen because Dillian White can never be franchise champion unless they have multiple franchise champions per division.
They'll figure it out.
Oh, man. They're going to figure something out.
And they'll sell it to you. Like when they do it to, Lomachenko, they're going to say, yeah, he's a brand new WBC champion, but look at his accomplishments. He's a 3-weight champion in 14 fights or 13 fights. They're salespeople. Like they'll say Wilder, yeah, maybe he's only fought like 2 or 3 top 10 people, but he's been a WBC champion for 4 years. He's held the belt with integrity. Yeah. It's all about they're just spin. It's spin, con artist. That's all it is.
It's a grift.
But the guys care too much about those belts. That's the thing. White's not going to toss it in the trash. He's been paying sanctioning fees for 500 days or something, or whatever, however long to be the fucking number one guy. He's not going to toss it in the trash.
I wonder how much money he has spent. And like given to the WBC through his sanctioning fees.
He's been paying for that silver belt
for a while, and he gets paid a lot.
He got the silver belt versus Helenius, I think.
Dillian White probably makes 7 figures easy every fight. At least in the recent, let's say 3 or 4 fights.
Oh, the pay-per-views.
Sure. He's making 7 figures, right? And they get 3% of that every fucking time. Every time.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's just insane. Anyways,
on the show last night, it's going to take fighters doing something for this to have any kind of effect, because all the media are giving WBC all kinds of shit, mocking them. They mocked them when they done the testing for judges. They mocked them when they done the undisputed WBC title, and they've mocked them for the franchise thing. They haven't said, do you know what? You're right. This is ridiculous. They're just going to keep doing it. And
the problem with like the boxing media being the one to sort of take on the issue is that the very top of boxing media is either ESPN or Ring Magazine, right? Probably those are the top two. Ring Magazine's owner or majority owner is Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy Promotions. That's a major conflict of interest. And ESPN obviously has a working relationship with Top Rank and Frank Warren. So you are going to see a spin in access, a spin in the amount of stories they put out, depending on who these promoters are. So same with, Showtime, CBS, media personalities like Brian Campbell works for Showtime and CBS. You see his reporting reflect that. Love Brian Campbell. Just saying the reporting does reflect that. So the very top of the boxing media is sort of, in a way, in tribes, in sort conglomerates of media groups and entities. And then the rest of us, the majority of boxing media, probably doesn't have that much leverage, honestly. I mean, the biggest boxing channels maybe have 500,000 subscribers, right? That's not a lot, really, in the grand scheme of it. And on top of that, those that have those big amounts of channels, like Fu has said already, they got that way through access and getting interviewed with people. And how do you get access? By the types of interviews you ask. It's just is what it is.
No difficult questions.
Yeah, and there's a reason why, I don't like doing interviews. There's a reason, I've said this on a lot of shows. There's a reason why I don't do interviews on this show. Like when we all come together and do a show, I don't want interviews on this show. We can all do interviews separate. We can do an interview show separate. But when we all three want to talk about boxing, I want it to be not through the prism of we have a boxer coming on the show. Let our rhetoric reflect that boxer coming on the show. And I've just never liked that. Digressing though, to stay on this Wilder topic in a way, but not really, but in an adjacent way. And
what is the lineal champion up to these days? Is that what you're getting to?
No, actually, I wasn't. I was still on still on Mike Coppinger's Q&A. Just because it's right here, so I won't talk about it. It's the Lou DiBella Al Heyman split, which we've talked about that. I think sort of before, Rob. I don't know if we have, but I feel like we have.
I think I had the hunch to start with, and then it kind of became apparent. He said it on
the Fight Disciples, right?
Huh?
Was it Fight Disciples? Is that what?
It was either that or the
Chris Mannix.
PKO.
Was it Chris Mannix podcast?
Mannix, I think. Yeah, Mannix as well.
He said Mannix.
Yeah.
All right. But anyways, digressing. This is just another confirmation of sort of that story. Some guy named Ryan asking Mike, what was the reason for DiBella and Wilder parting ways? Mike Coppinger replies, Wilder and Lou never had an official working agreement, but Lou did well to build Wilder in New York as a partner of PBC. When DiBella orchestrated that meeting between Wilder and DAZN, Heyman pushed DiBella out. Ooh. And this isn't going to be a topic that we get a lot of the time, or I mean, we're going to give a lot of time to, but it's just interesting. It's politics. It's, corporate entities fighting each other and being petty. You know me, I love pettiness. So the idea of Lou DiBella somehow orchestrating a meeting with presumably Wilder, JD is, right? Who else? Who else would be in that room, do you think? If not Al, because Al Heyman wasn't there, obviously.
Weren't we told that Al Heyman was going to be a part of those meetings, though?
I thought we were, too. But anyways,
we were.
But hold on. Tabling that for a second. The thought in my head of Lou DiBella having a secret meeting with DAZN that he orchestrated with Shelly Finkel, JD's, Deontay Wilder, all there, and Al Heyman not there, and Heyman finding out and being petty and being like, no, DiBella, you're gone, and that's the reason that he hasn't been working with DiBella since, is hilarious to me. And I find it personally one of the best stories of the year. I'm sorry. I know we can talk about how that's bad business and there's a serious substantive point to it, but the petty side of it, hilarious to me. Shout out to Al Heyman just being like, nah, fuck that guy, kicking him out. Love it. But Fu, you seem like you wanted to jump on this topic, so I'll go to you first. Fu, thoughts? DiBella, Heyman no longer working together due to the fact of DiBella setting up a meeting between Wilder and DAZN. And I would also presume that Heyman was not a part of.
Yeah, I think
because if he was a part of, why would he be upset? That's why the thinking. That's why I'm thinking that way.
Yeah, and it creates more questions, right? So, did this lead to like what people were saying, where Heyman made that play and basically told Wilder he couldn't do it. He couldn't go to DAZN type thing, right? Like, I mean, that to me is what that screams, is like if Heyman didn't know that was going down, or maybe knew but wasn't involved somehow. I mean, because he's gonna know regardless. Like, there's no way he's just not gonna know.
Like, he's not omniscient. He's not God. Like,
yeah, but there's like people that are gonna go back and tell him what's going on. I mean,
guys, like
all the media knows. Heyman definitely knows, right? Like,
Heyman doesn't have superpowers, guys.
Yeah, but
he might be a Sith Lord.
Here's the thing: if we know, Heyman knows. And when we knew those meetings were happening, Heyman knew.
Did we know beforehand? I'm trying to remember. Because I don't remember.
Yeah, I think we knew beforehand, right? It was a little bit before the meetings went down.
Sure.
Because we all talked about it, like, oh, he's
Rob. I knew
he's going to decline or whatever.
I sent servants in the force.
But my point would be that just proves that Heyman blocked all of that. You know, like he got rid of DiBella because DiBella was trying to make those moves that would take Wilder off of Showtime, or, you know, wherever DiBella. I mean, Heyman's still going to make money regardless of where Wilder goes. But to me, that proves that Heyman just blocked all of that shit and moved DiBella out of the picture. So he would be in full control again. You know,
I like to think that Heyman was in the meeting and they sit, they listen, and John Skipper's like, yeah, 4 fights. 2 of them with Joshua, $120 million. Wilder's like, holy shit. Al Heyman's like, that's a good offer. They leave the meeting and like, good one, Baldy, you fucking idiot. Now we've got to find this money to keep him on Showtime and shit. You fucking idiot. Pack your bags. Get the fuck out of my face. You're done.
That's such a matchroom thought process to that event.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why? Isn't that more?
Because it's always it's to the talking point, like Showtime doesn't have money, and we talked about this on the Patreon show yesterday. Hold on, let me make this point because it is relevant to this discussion that you brought up about the money.
Is it though?
Yeah, because I wish I had the article in front of me. I sent an article to you guys. None of you read it. When I say you guys, I'm talking about Rob and Fu because they don't care to read.
I don't even know how to read.
I know, Fu. It's okay. You're Chewbacca. You just go "arr" and just go like that. Yes, that was my Wookiee noise there, Rob. Shut the fuck up.
Chewbacca's appearance on Pirates of the Caribbean. What the fuck was that?
Anyways,
I'm making mad cameos these days. Don't worry.
Yeah,
I looked at the ratings for Showtime and HBO shows, like drama shows, whether it's the City on the Hill new show, whether it's The Chi, whether it's the new show Euphoria on HBO, and all of those numbers are low. We're talking about, live average viewership without streaming numbers being around 500,000 viewers. So the thought of boxing, especially this year when Showtime's numbers haven't been that great, we can all admit that, right? They're actually still decent when you're looking at the cost it takes to produce a boxing event compared to a hour-long drama TV show. It's a cheap product, i.e. boxing, and it's actually doing decent numbers. So Showtime has money, I would presume. CBS has money. So I don't think that's an issue. I think Heyman was involved. I think they really went behind his back. That makes the most sense to me. There's no way Heyman went along with it, and if he wasn't okay with it and he wanted to kick DiBella out. Right? Like, why would he? That's like, I don't see it.
I do. That's why I said it.
I know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
No, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't think Wilder will be getting money that he's getting had the figures of 120 million hadn't been banded around.
What if Eddie Hearn orchestrated everything just so Lou would get fired?
Why? And he's not fired. Like, they just don't work together anymore. Like, it's not like he's an employee.
Because everything is Eddie Hearn's fault.
Of course.
Nah, he done it to get back at for all this Serrano bullshit. But
by the way, Jordan, stop tweeting in the third person, Jordan. We know it's you on Amanda Serrano's account. Please stop. It's creepy.
Yeah,
it really is
The ones that say, my manager trainer is such a wonderful guy. You're like, quit it, man. Fucking hell.
He's got a great sense of humor. He's a very funny man.
That's never a good thing. That means he's ugly.
Anyways,
I mean, have you seen?
we can move on.
You are funny.
Anyways, we can move on, right? I don't think we have anything else to talk about. DeBella Heyman
No.
split, like just.
So.
I think it's petty corporate bullshit, but it's funny, really funny.
Yeah, worth talking about.
Definitely worth talking about. Worth talking about because Tyson Fury is in the news, giving out news allegedly. He was doing a Q&A in England. I think it was one of those meet and greets sort of things. I think Behind the Gloves were a part of it as well.
By the way, Wilder's coming. Wilder's doing a little UK tour, meet and greet.
Okay. But he confirmed that the Wilder fight was confirmed and signed, quote, for February 22nd. Guys, do we think this is true? Because while it is a specific date, and that is interesting, it is a specific date, and he's saying it's confirmed and signed, other people, i.e., I think Bob Arum, Top Rank, I don't know Frank Warren, but I know Bob Arum has come out and said, no, it's not 100%. Do we think this is done? Do we think February 22nd, we're getting Wilder Fury 2 in a soon-to-be determined location? Anyone?
For the lineal franchise WBC heavyweight champion.
Yep.
The new unified, undisputed, made-up titles champion of the world.
Pretty soon they'll have a lineal belt. Yeah, I do think this is happening. I think they've been working toward this. I know ESPN gave Fury a lot of money. They need this fight to happen. I think it's going to happen.
Interesting. All right, Rob, you think it's February 22nd? You think Fury's telling the truth here?
I mean, Dan came out and said, despite Fury saying this is done, signed, and blah, 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 that this is one of the dates that are being talked about. Mm-hmm. But part of me thinks that he said this and people are all saying he's full of shit, pinch of salt stuff. But I think this one might possibly might happen. I think it might come true. I think it will be. I don't know about location. I'm not too sure exactly. I think Vegas.
US for sure though.
Oh yeah. Don't think.
I assume Vegas too. I think T-Mobile. Like, why not? Like it. I think they're gonna try and make this a big money fight, and therefore Vegas makes the most sense. To be quite honest.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere that Vegas is the likely venue for it. I can't. Obviously, Tyson made his Vegas sort of debut. Made a bit of a splash there. Not a billion tickets or anything like that, but we'll see. But I think it may end up being February 22nd.
Staying on this Tyson Fury bit, he has talked about who he's fighting next because he's not fighting Wilder. In the meantime, he's going to fight someone else probably in October-ish. And the name he's mentioned is, you guys excited? You ready? Trevor Bryan. Yes. Ramon with the super chat. Thanks, Ramon.
OMG. I'm so excited.
I see that super chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Ramon. I'm also so excited about heavyweight boxing. It's a great matchup.
Number 7
Fantastic.
Number 27 in the world.
Stay off the weed.
Digressing,
my life in this sweet surrender.
Rob, can you play the Charles Martin soundbite, please?
Oh, 1 second.
Fuck that shit. Fuck boxing. Fuck boxing.
Yep, my thoughts exactly. Thank you, Charles. Always just one. I think one day we're gonna look back on Charles Martin and say that he was the wisest boxer of his generation. Just saying. Oh
boy, that's worrying, right? No, it's fucking worrying. Someone that can say such a, an impactful, quite
enlightened statement, right?
Yeah. but previously said, "I work this earth like a god."
Well, he does walk this earth like a god because only he is thinking in that way, in that stratosphere of brain power.
The anti-boxing.
He has a galaxy brain, okay, and he has dragon energy, okay.
Oh, he could be the first Galaxy champion, the WBC Galaxy champion
with dragon energy. Anyway.
Oh, sorry, yeah, my bad.
Yeah,
but just so people know, this is in case Gerald Miller isn't.
Thank you. I was trying to get to that, but we kept making jokes.
But yeah, this is.
Oh, but wait. We can't talk about Gerald Miller because then we're platforming him and giving him money somehow. And that means people will unsubscribe to our channel, which, it's just,
You can't handle the truth.
It's all right, guys. It's all right.
Oh, it's okay.
It's all right. But yeah, I'll be honest, I don't think we get Trevor Bryan. I think we do get Jared Miller.
Well, wasn't Trevor Bryan supposedly fighting Manuel Cha in the Don King's quest for peace?
First off, that tagline for a fight, the Don King's quest for peace, I think it was even world peace.
Well, it may be, yeah.
Was perhaps the best tagline in combat sports history. Ivan, though, in the chat saying, that's not a terrible opponent compared to the other types of tune-ups he's had. Ivan, that's how he's going to get you sucked into that fight. Because you're like, yeah, Trevor Bryan's a top, 25-ish heavyweight?
He's 27 on BoxRec, 7 in America.
Man, look at me. I'm so good, man. Jeff Horn, top 5 middleweight. See, I know this shit. I think Trevor Bryan is a shit opponent, and he has no business fighting anyone close to the top 10. To be quite honest, the best opponent Trevor Bryan could be fighting right now, in my opinion, is like Robert Helenius or Oliver McCall.
Bear in mind, no, vying for the number 6 spot.
And I'll be honest, for all those that hate this idea, I love the Gerald Miller Tyson Fury fight. So I know, sue me, hate me, unsubscribe. I love that fight. Take all the PEDs you want, Tyson and Gerald Miller. Go for it, man. Go eat a lot of boar meat or whatever you guys did to Pop Dirty. Don't give a fuck. I want that fight.
I thought I said controversial shit last night on Boxing Banter.
Thank God that show's never seen the light of day.
But very quick. Don't knock Trevor Bryan, all right? He's off the back of knocking BJ Flores out in 4 rounds. So I know BJ Flores was probably last remembered for getting absolutely smeared across the canvas by cruiserweight Tony Bellew, but yeah, it's not good. It's not good. I've seen people on Twitter saying Fury brought out this, I'm fighting Wilder February 22nd, and this time I'm knocking him the fuck out. By the way, in between that, I'm fighting Trevor Bryan. Whatever. That's okay, Tyson. You do that as long as you knock out Wilder. It's like I was sneaking maybe some good news, and then soften the blow when I tell you who I'm actually going to fight next.
I hate boxing. Just want to make everyone fully aware of that right now. I hate this sport.
Hit that thumbs up.
Hit that thumbs up, guys. So share, subscribe. Yeah, while we're slowly dying a painful death.
It's really just heavyweight boxing, right?
No, come on.
Some of the other divisions have some really good fights going on.
Okay, is heavyweight division specifically in its own unique way the worst cesspool of shit? Yes, absolutely agree with you on that. I don't think anyone disagrees with you on that. However,
the other divisions are like the little splashes of
shit.
Yeah,
it's the other divisions make you have to actually get on your knees and clean the toilet because there's shit all over the place, man. It's a pain in the ass. Okay, you got franchise champions at middleweight. You have people being mandatory statuses. You have undisputed WBC champions. That's happening all over the place. So
you got middleweight, welterweights fighting lightweights.
Yeah, we have welterweights calling out a middleweight. Every welterweight on the planet is calling out a middleweight right now. Stupid.
Yeah, middleweights wanting to fight light heavies.
Yeah,
it's great. But look, we're here every week, every day, whatever, talking about it, how depressed we are. But
there are some really good fights in some of the other weight classes, but yeah,
Look at Fu.
the
Try to be
sanctioning
optimistic.
bodies fuck everything up for sure.
But Fu, I don't think you really talked about Trevor Bryan Miller. So
I don't, in the in the great words of our man Masvidal, my mother taught me if I couldn't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. I don't live by that at any moment, but
hold on. Or Thumper. Thumper taught us
Thumper.
that. Come on.
There you go.
Wasn't it Thumper and
Yeah.
Bambi? I'm trying to remember.
I don't have anything good to say about the heavyweight division, man. I don't enjoy it. I know it's like the one everyone wants to watch, but I'm way more excited about the, undisputed unified WBC champion at 122 pounds. That's a good fight for me.
So let's move to middleweight then, and Canelo. And
did you get the link?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's what this just broke. Mike Coppinger, sources tell The Athletic DAZN has approved of 2 opponents for Canelo's next fight: Triple G and Sergey Kovalev. Unless DAZN changes its mind, that would block any plan to make Canelo Munguia on September 14th, paving way possibly for Canelo Kovalev and Triple G Munguia maybe October 19th. Mike's been beating this war drum of Canelo Kovalev, and I still don't know if I buy it because Canelo's team has been pretty adamant it's not happening. So, Rob, since you are a DAZN expert over here, obviously, even though you live in the UK and don't have DAZN,
UK company, don't worry about it.
It is a UK company. You're right. There you go. I mean, your cousin's a part of it. Your cousin is a partner to them, so that's how it is.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen here, man? Because again, credit to Mike Coppinger, no disrespect to him, but I don't believe this reporting, not in the way that whoever at DAZN is telling him this, I believe they are honest. But I believe we're not getting Canelo Kovalev. That is not happening September. I don't think that's happening because everyone's been saying Kovalev is not fighting that fight.
No.
At all.
I think either the money wasn't right or Kathy Duva said, if they want the fight, they need to send a serious offer. Bob's kind of said, my feeling is Kovalev will fight. He keeps saying Yardy, Anthony Yardy. But yeah, he's going to do the Yard fight. And if they want to do Canelo later in the year, fine. But it's all been left a little bit too late. So I don't know. Are we getting as planned? Has it been a whole bunch of drama just to end up to be told we're watching Canelo Triple G 3? And I wonder if the pressure's been put on because maybe Joshua Ruiz is going to be in the UK, and obviously that's a 5 p.m. fight for Americans. Obviously, if that's true, if it is in Cardiff, but yeah, I don't know.
I think
Munguia, who was favourite, is no longer looking likely.
Well, we all know DAZN didn't want Munguia, but
that's a terrible fight.
But I don't think. I'll be honest. I don't think DAZN really stomps their foot down and says, "No, Canelo, you can't have that." I don't think that. I don't. I think I still believe my theory that I stated yesterday on the Patreon show. Canelo's gonna. This is gonna be his way to get out of it. Start his own knee surgery. Go have another cosmetic knee surgery and take a month off and fight Munguia in October. Triple G, sorry man, you have to go fight Andrade. And that's what's probably going to happen because DAZN's going to have to make the best fight possible for that Mexican Independence Day. And similar to HBO, thinking that, Mexican style, Triple G is going to save Cinco de Mayo and fight Vanessa Mata Rosen. We're going to have Triple G Andrade for Mexican Independence Day. And DAZN sell it as Mexican style. God damn it. But yeah.
That's going to look very similar to Tyson Fury versus Klitschko, where Andrade is just going to be a very negative fighter for 12 rounds and probably win a decision against Triple G.
I will say this. Triple G was always more exciting than Klitschko, so hopefully that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, guys, I mean, Food, did you say your opinion on this yet? I forget.
I just think if the Joshua Ruiz rematch is in the UK, that we get Triple G Canelo. I think that DAZN will make a big push for that, and they'll probably just they'll sweeten it for Golden Boy somehow to make sure that happens, or however they need to do it. But they'll make something happen because they're going to need some big fights to end the year, that last quarter. So they're going to make something happen. And if Ruiz Joshua is not in the U.S. on DAZN, they're gonna throw a bunch of money at whatever they need to get Canelo and Triple G in the ring.
Yeah, it is what it is. Speaking of a former middleweight and a guy that's talking about Triple G, Billy Joe Saunders was at a MTK Global event this past weekend, which we're going to talk about in a bit. And it's in Kazakhstan, obviously. So, Triple G, a Kazakh fighter. I don't know if he was in attendance, but Billy Joe decided to come out there and call out Billy Joe Saunders and talk about fighting him in Kazakhstan. I will just say this. Billy Joe Saunders, I think you're full of shit. Stop doing this. No one believes that you want to fight Triple G. You're at super middleweight now. Try to get a super middleweight fight, please.
He has. He did. They made an offer to Callum Smith.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. But I mean, keep going that way. Don't go towards Triple G, because what are you doing? Like,
he wants a fight. That's all. I think he just wants a big fight.
I want to see Billy Joe Saunders stick to a fucking division. That'd be nice.
Do you want that for Canelo?
Yeah, I actually do. You know me.
Well,
I've been consistent. I want Canelo to stay at 160 and fight Triple G next, then Andrade, then Charlo, and then who else is there? Rob Brandt, and then move up to 168 and fight whoever's the king then, whether it's Callum Smith, Caleb Plant, whoever, David Benavidez. That's what I would want to see. But we're not getting that.
Well, and we got to be fair to Canelo. He has not had the inconsistency that Saunders has had.
Absolutely.
Like in his, quality of competition or anything like that. Like Saunders is super talented, and we all agree on that. Just he has a fight like Lemieux where it's a display of like the best boxing you would ever see, and then next fight it's just shit. Like I just want consistency. I would like to see him get very serious and dominate like he could if he wanted to. He could go to 160 and fight Triple G. That would be awesome. If he gets serious, make the weight, take the sport more serious than he does. I think that's the frustration, Rob. It's not a matter of having opinions that don't keep the same energy. It's a matter of Canelo is very serious about the sport, and the level of competition is great, and his dedication is great, versus Billy Joe Saunders is just all over the place.
Apparently they've signed a contract twice to fight Golovkin. I think he just really wants to have a big fight. You can roll your eyes, man. I'm just passing on.
The guy literally has been on camera saying, "I'm scared of Golovkin. I would never fight him."
I'll do the same eye roll you did.
What? He's on camera saying it. What do you mean? Why are you rolling eyes at that?
I'm just saying.
Your claim is, I've heard he has signed a contract a couple times. His exact words in front of a camera was, "I am scared of Triple G." That guy is terrifying. I don't want to fight him.
Okay. You okay? Got a bit shouty.
Billy Joe Saunders. He's frustrating. He's a frustrating person. Because, for example, the Callum Smith offer, right? We talked about that a week ago, give or take. And I said that was a great offer. 50-50, BT pay-per-view. And my criticism for that was not on him. It was on Callum Smith, actually, right? Rob, you know that. My criticism was Callum Smith, stuck his nose up to that offer. Didn't want to do a counter offer back. Didn't want to have an offer back saying 50-50 or 60-40 and Sky pay-per-view. And then that's how you start a negotiation. So,
and we all said that Smith was ducking.
Yeah.
In our private chat, we all said Smith is ducking Billy Joe Saunders. And I think that's true.
So again, I like Billy Joe, but I don't want him to, have one offer to a credible super middleweight that go nowhere, and then we go, I'm going to start calling out a middleweight now. I thought you went up. You have a belt at 168 now, dude. Like, you have things to do here now. Either vacate that belt, go back down to 160, fight Andrade for your old belt, do something. You know, like, again, Billy Joe, just pick a avenue, pick a path. Not this half-ass, I'm going to do this. Oh, that's not working out. I'm going to go fight Usufi and move up a division. You know, like, that's what I don't like about Billy Joe Saunders. It's not talent.
Well, he said the same thing about Mikey Garcia, like the jumping around.
Perfect. Another good example.
Same energy was like here from me on Mikey Garcia. Like, stay in the division, dominate the division, then move up. You know, like, he had the Loma fight he needed to take. I think the same with Billy Joe Saunders. It's like, if you want to be 160 and fight Triple G and Canelo and Charlo and all these guys and Andrade, like, there's good fights there for him, but be committed to making the weight, be committed to the sport, and show how good you are, because we all know how good you are. Like, there's no one that doubts his ability to box and to win fights. He's fantastic. I doubt sometimes that he has a very clear purpose or any real like game plan about what he wants to do with his career. And that's frustrating.
From like a decision-making standpoint, from a fight-making standpoint, he seems a little bit lackadaisical. Let's put it that way. Moving on, though, talking about this WBO shenanigans with the Briedis and Glowacki decision. For those who don't remember, that was the whole spinning back elbow MMA style KO on the World Boxing Super Series card. That is still perhaps one of the craziest scenarios we saw this year. They have ruled.
Was it too late to get Robert Byrd tested?
It was a little bit too late. Sorry.
A hearing test.
God. But they have ruled that the winner of the tournament, Briedis versus Dorticos, will have to fight Glowacki within 180 days. I think it was the amount of days it was.
I actually ruled it now because they originally it was worded as it was like you shouldn't take PEDs. It was like the winner should fight Glowacki.
That's how it usually is. It usually is like that. So whether or not that happens, we're going to see. But I know a lot of people were grabbing their pitchforks when they saw that fight, wanting it to be a no contest. I wasn't as adamant about it, though I have no qualms with anyone that is adamant that it should have been a no contest. But this ruling seems to be a compromise in between sort of thing that they're trying to do to appease some fans while not really doing anything, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, look, that would have really... the only thing is this was in the middle of a tournament. So if they'd have said, no, you're going to do the fight again, that's another, 5 months minimum before the fight happens again and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, look, we get you're upset, this, that, never, but let's get the winner of the tournament and then you get the shot at the winner of the tournament kind of thing. So yeah, it's the whole event was crazy. Like you say, people were kind of like a little bit mad about it, but I just don't see what they could have really done because this would have just held up. You know, after Groves done his shoulder against Eubank, and then we had the whole waiting around for ages. Was he going to be fit for Callum Smith in Jeddah and all that stuff? It kind of just dragged it out and dragged it. This is the trouble with, I guess, tournaments. Injuries can happen or freak occasions like it did in that fight. It's kind of got to go on. I know it's hard. Like there was suggestion at the time that Groves wouldn't be able to make it because they wanted, the pressure was on to get the event done, you know, and Groves might have to have, despite reaching the final, had to sit out through injury. And then, you know, there was talk of Eubank stepping into the final, even though he lost in the semi. So there's time scale things and all that comes into play. So as much as people might go, oh, this has been a crazy fight, but I think the decision's kind of fair, even though it's kind of, I don't know, I'm sort of okay with it because it seems the right thing that he should get a shot. Despite, I mean, he did a couple of punches to the back of Breedy's head, you know, which led to Breedy's getting pissed and throwing the elbow out. All it needed in that fight was someone to come over the top turnbuckle and, you know, flying elbow and just carnage, Masvidal flying knees and shit like that. But yeah, I think it's kind of the right decision in the long run.
I agree. I very much agree with you. Speaking of right decisions, Ezra Laura being petty in fighting Ramon Alvarez, aka the brother of Canelo Alvarez, is 100% the right decision for him in his career. Come on, guys. I know, Rob, you sent this like, oh, we're gonna hate on this matchup. No, sir. This is a great matchup.
This is the boxing story of the year.
This Laura to get his years-long revenge against Canelo by beating up his brother for a WBA interim title is perhaps, again, one of the best stories we have read in some time.
Did Canelo ever fight Brandon Rios?
No.
Oh, because he had his opportunity at Canelo's brother, right?
Yeah. Obviously, this fight it should be a one-sided sort of beatdown for poor Ramon Alvarez. But Laura, I think at this point in time and how old he is, I mean, he's near 40. He's a pretty aged fighter at this point in his time. He's a veteran in the game. I'm 1,000% okay with him taking an easy fight after he's been fighting really tough competition lately. From Jared Hurd to Brian Castano, he's fought some really tough young guys when he has been the older veteran trying to apply his game. So I'm
He's
on
36.
36. Yeah, I'm in favor of this matchup in a lot of ways. Now, if it's a main event, my opinion about it does change because the context of it is it's a main event of a televised card. This is a great card opener, a great FS1 co-main event. That's where this should be at, in my opinion. But I do like the matchup.
For Minneapolis Armory, and it's also going to have Caleb Truax versus Peter Quillen. I believe that's a rematch, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you say? Wait. Can you repeat that first part that you said? Sorry.
This is being I can't even remember what I said. The first part. It's in Minneapolis.
Minneapolis.
At the Armory. And,
it's on Fox. Yeah. And it's on Fox, so that it should mean that he's not the main event.
So Truax and Peter Quillen are?
No, I don't think that.
Sources say this is pay-per-view.
This is
who's a big fighter out of like the Minneapolis area that could be that? Like the old days would be like the Durrell brothers, but
wait, I got to see this.
They're not around. Maybe they get Shields for a Fox event. That'd be great.
Because the Quillen fight was
Michigan, close enough. Sorry.
Yeah, the Quillen fight was ND, no decision or whatever, but didn't one of them get cut bad?
I think
Quillen
so.
was it?
Sure. I don't care about that fight, I'll be honest. I know it's like a decent matchup for those two guys, but like that's one fight don't care about. I am interested to see what the main event for this Fox card is. But digressing, let's move on. Talk about Rob's favorite person, his good cousin, Eddie. Eddie went on IG to sort of give a hint that Devin Haney is back in September, and his next fights can be finalized this week, obviously DAZN. And I believe it was an earlier reporting, I want to say last week, the week before, that mentioned that Abdulev is really the only option. And it's going to be Devin Haney versus Abdulev. Love that fight. I think it makes sense. It's a good sort of step up for both guys, honestly. It's, two sort of prospects against each other.
A winner gets Luke Campbell. Or Lomachenko, obviously. But
good one. But anyways, I feel like this is just a confirmation, really, from Eddie Hearn of what we already knew.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah, no, totally. I believe, was it Vegas? So it's a hometown fight for Devin. I was just trying to quickly see if it's made it to BoxRec yet. Let me clear. Yeah, it's got Abdullayev, Las Vegas. So, yep, looks like it is set there. No other fights on the card just yet. There was talk that was it Povetkin or was it? I can't. It might be. No, it wouldn't be Usyk, right? But someone was that had been postponed from another card was going to jump on this September card, I think. So it could be Usyk or Povetkin maybe will be on the card as well, but we'll see.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
So no, just saying more to follow. Obviously, more news.
Fu, and any comment on the Devin Haney Abdullah fight?
Just exciting, man, to see him this active. I'd love to, seeing Haney 3-4 times a year is great. I think he's going to prove to be just an extremely special fighter. So I like that the guys that are kind of going over to the zone, I like how active they are. It is one plus to that whole thing there. Even though we've talked about sometimes that puts them in bad matchups.
I think, to be fair, though, I think everyone's been active this year. Like there have been a lot of events this year. PBC has obviously upped their amount because of their Fox deal. Showtime doesn't have a lot of events, but PBC does.
Yeah.
Top Rank has got far too many. Just ESPN as a whole has so much content that's boxing. That's either Frank Warren adjacent content, just overall international content that they're grabbing up for very low and cheap prices.
Yeah, the MTK stuff, right?
Yeah, it's just so much content being put out there. That's all these new streaming deals, all these new network deals, man. That's a byproduct of it.
Thurman's even going to fight twice this year,
dude.
Holy shit!
And think about it, it's twice and it's July. Think about that. Like he could fight 4 times this year, guys. Gary, watch out, man. Be scared.
Stop.
I'm sorry. But we have to talk about actually a really unfortunate topic. So, a little bit of a abrupt change in tone. Thomas Hauser, who really hasn't done a lot of work recently because apparently he's doing a book, has a article out. And whenever Thomas Hauser does an article, it's always worth reading, and it's on Marcus Brown. And those that are in the know have known that Marcus Brown has been dealing with domestic violence issues for some time. And there's been another arrest last month in June. The official court date will be after his fight. So similar to like the Broner case, Shakur Stevenson of recent memory, a fighter will have a fight while he's in the middle of a sort of legal battle due to violence towards women. And this is the mother of his child or his children. It's just I really struggle to try to talk about this subject. I've met Marcus Brown a lot of times. I've interviewed him a couple times. I've been in the gym with him training. Like I've been around his kids. Like that's the scary part. Is like I've been around the people in this story. I've seen them in person. I've seen them interact with him. So it's. Again, I have a hard time talking about it. I have a hard time contextualizing it in my own mind because I know the people involved. So all I'm going to say is really prayers to his family. Hopefully the legal system works here and those kids are safe above all else. Whether that means Marcus Brown goes to prison, whatever it may be, those kids are safe. That is paramount. That the mother of those children are safe. That is paramount. And I just, again, we have a fighter that's going to be out to be platformed on Fox that's in the middle of another case like this. But yet we are in the sport that has Mayweather, Tyson. Yep. 2 men, and the biggest boxers of the last 30 years, both went to prison for violence towards women. It's just a tough stomach to pill. Sports as a whole has a violence towards women issue. Maybe just men as a whole in a patriarchal society in Western culture has that issue, obviously. And it's prevalated through every aspect of society, including sports entertainment.
We deal with it worse in boxing than any other sport, though. Look at what has happened in football or basketball, things like that, right? It's like they've put people out of the sport for, years for, child abuse in one instance where the guy whipped his kid with the electrical cord or whatever. The Ray Rice situation where he hit his girlfriend in the elevator or wife in the elevator, he got put out of the sport for at least a year, no pay, didn't get guaranteed his contract, nothing like that. we have dealt with this situation the worst out of any other sport in boxing.
I agree with you in that way. Yes.
You know, like there's nothing that comes back on these guys. I mean, Shakur Stevenson beat up a girl in a parking lot. There was video footage of it, and sucker punched a guy who was on the ground, and he is an Olympic athlete. And he fought, and everyone's bigging him up and talking about how special he is. And I'm not saying he's not. He's a great boxer. He's a shit human being, though. Like, that's a terrible way to conduct yourself. I couldn't be an employee at a normal fucking location in my town and be on video punching a woman and keep my job. I would get fired. You know, I would be in prison. It's a joke. The way that we deal with this stuff, and the fact that even on this, like, you know, in a very limited way as well, with the Fury stuff where they were talking about how they wouldn't want to fight Miller because they didn't know if he was clean or something at one point, and they would have to do something. It's like all these people that were doing the interviews never mentioned one time that Fury wasn't clean at one point in his career. And that, you know, there's just not a lot of integrity when it comes to the things that are said in the media for boxing, and fans in general don't really. It's like if you don't like someone, it's okay to hate on them for a certain thing, but if you do, then you ignore everything bad they do. It's just, I don't know. Like I'm guilty of it too, I'm sure, in some way, somewhere down the line.
I mean, that's the unfortunate part. Like, we are all men in a patriarchal society that has mistreated women for thousands of years. And we are a part of that issue. We have to accept that, and we have to deal with it. And we have biases about this issue because we're men and we grew up in this way. Yeah. Like, we just do. Like, we have to admit that. Rob, thoughts on this? You know, whatever it may be.
What are you talking? You never give me a fair shake.
Whoa.
My bad. Just flicked it up as I went to come back to this camera. It's all right. It was our intro.
I didn't know that. That's why I got worried. I'm like, whoa, Rob, you got something to tell me?
No, I'm just watching someone else. No, as long as the justice system does its job, then, you know, unfortunately, this shit happens in the world, and yeah, as long as all involved are safe and justice is served, then I never like really going deep into this kind of stuff. It needs highlighting, I guess, but we've had.
Well, you are right that like there's no deep discussion that needs to be had. You know what I mean? Like, there's no debate with this topic. You know what I mean? Like, there's, at least with us, I know there's people out there that have a different sort of viewpoint on this, but they're just sexist bigots. So, like, we don't need to talk about them. Like, if you're a normal human being, you're just like, this sucks. Like, this needs to be addressed. Justice system, it's your job to address it. Deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's, like, what else can you say, truly, you know?
Because, you know, this has been numerous times now, you know, how badly does it have to be before they go, all right, you know, you've gone a little bit far this time, you know, we'll lock you up. But I don't know. I think sometimes, I don't know, people deserve to be punished and they should be in jail for things, but also there should be some help while they're in there, because it isn't normal behavior. It isn't what you're supposed to do in life. So instead of just, you know, locking the doors for X amount of time and then letting them back out,
that's not really addressing the issue. Absolutely agree. Yeah.
It's not, you know, getting a solution to the root cause of everything. But
and a very different topic that we're not going to go down, but like the mental health issues of, you know, the U.S., the U.K., wherever we're talking about, is similar. You don't want to lock up people that have mental health issues. Yeah. There's other avenues. Same with like drug users. Like, you don't want to just lock them up because that's not dealing with the issue.
I think on that talk of like mental health issues, I think Tyson Fury, whatever you think of the guy, I think he has encouraged a lot of, and I've heard so many interviews recently on various different shows and podcasts and radio and all that are now talking about their sort of, and I think it seems to be quite a thing in boxers. I think obviously boxers is quite a working class sport. You know, a lot of the fighters come from poor backgrounds and, you know, fighting their way through. But I think a lot of them have seen and dealt with some horrible stuff, and it's left some sort of mental scars. And I think so. To a way, you know, shout out to Fury for bringing this up. You know, when there's a 6'9" heavyweight can admit that he was feeling a certain way, it maybe suggests to other fighters that, oh, it's okay to talk about it. That's the, you know, the kind of the first step. So
I will add though that Fury, you were also the same person that says when you made fun of gay people and said they are the sign of the apocalypse, that it was, quote, just a joke. So you gotta do better too. Unfortunately. Well, yeah, mental health, his battle for that is awesome. That should be commended.
Yeah.
You are definitely at fault. Not you, but, you know, Fury, you're definitely at fault for some really significant issues and some shit that you've said, and your excuse for it is bullshit. We shouldn't accept that in this sport, or just in the world, honestly, and today. Moving on, a fight is in play. Ricky Burns, back, you know me, man. Always a big fan of Ricky Burns, versus another fighter I love, Jorge Linares.
you love him again?
Yo, man, it's like the boxing gods read my mind or something, right? Like, this is weird. This is an eerie fight because these are two guys I like way too much.
You back on that Linares train?
Absolutely, man. He's going to beat Ricky Burns and beat Regis Prograis and Josh Taylor and Jose Ramirez and Maurice Hooker and be the 140-pound champion. Duh.
Wait. Is Linares French or something? What the hell's going on? I quite like the fight. I perhaps wouldn't have said that a few years ago when we saw him setting about Crawler and
Actually,
just in unbelief, you know, like, wow, this guy's just insane, you know. But then who was it? Kana? Was it Pablo Kana who completely destroyed Linares in a round on the zone? It was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Linares just got absolutely iced. But yeah, I like it. I like the fight. Ricky Burns, tough guy, you know. So I think it's possibly happening in September in Glasgow.
For some reason, I just wanted to sing "Bye Bye Bye," you know, to the person in the chat.
Oh,
Bye Bye Bye, get out.
Yeah, bye, people.
Peace. No, I like this fight. Is it at 140 or one?
Yeah,
are they going to fight at 140?
Yeah, 140. I don't know.
September.
Dang, I'm going to take Burns.
It's going to be in Scotland, too. You got to take Burns. Yeah, come on. Ricky Burns he can still do something, you know, and he still can take a punch in a way. Linares, I don't know if he can. And last topic of the day, then we go to callers. International callers calling on Skype, Mixed Combat Radio. If you want to complain about us being SJWs, first off, fuck off. Secondly, you can call in like a man or a woman, like a grown-ass adult, and have a discussion. Fucking pussy. Or call in 323-870-4051. Do that now. Anyways, let's last topic. Mario Barrios has a fight announced, and it's a fight that no one knows and no one cares about for a WBA regular belt. Mario Barrios versus Batur Akhmadov. I'll be honest, I really don't care about this. Also being fought junior welterweight for those that want to know. I think if you're Mario Barrios, you need to step up in competition drastically. This is not it. Let's be honest. Guys, any thoughts on this last topic, or you want to go to callers?
Nah, but I'll quickly add Tevin Farmer has been added to the Hooker Ramirez card.
Who? Sorry.
Tevin Farmer.
Ooh, it's a good little.
Against Fremois, the guy that drew with John O'Carroll, which kind of looked like he beat John O'Carroll, to be fair.
So,
not
the greatest matchup, but at least it's another guy to sort of strengthen that card. Fu, anything, or you want to go callers?
Let's go to callers.
Okay. No, Gary's didn't call in, guys. I'm sorry.
God damn it, Gary.
Sorry.
Where's my Gary soundbite?
I'll call. If you want, I can call him on Skype.
Where's my Gary soundbite? Here it
We're
is.
calling you, Gary.
Should we?
Idiot! What a loser!
I have no issue with calling Gary on Skype and being annoying. We're gonna go to Santiago first though, because he's on the line. Santiago, what is up?
The legend.
Human box wreck.
The machine.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
The silent assassin. Yes.
Yeah, we got
yes,
you, Santi. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Seeing that the author of my favorite anime series that inspired me to get into boxing did the cover art for Naoya Inoue really made my day, and I'm looking forward to hitting the gym today a lot harder than I normally do. So that was good. Best news of the whole day and probably the whole week outside of it being fight week for me. So I'm feeling pretty good, man, because everything else is just depressing and stupid and pretty much on a broken record at this point, if you ask me.
That's kind of
Sorry.
cool. I always love when it was like Fightposium, whenever they do their sort of like comic book covers for like fights, like for boxing or MMA. I always love when that shit happens. Like anime, like whenever like an anime artist wants to do like a boxing rendition of like Ali or something. Always cool.
Oh yeah, man, and it's only fitting that the guy that has the most popular and long-running series boxing themed does it for his fellow countrymen, and this guy also owns his own gym in Tokyo because of that anime. It's just perfect. It's perfect. It was a great way for Naoya to get some recognition right there. Shout out to him. Shout out to the author. Anybody that's anybody. If you guys haven't watched it or read it, you can find it online. You can watch it online. It's a great anime. It's a great way to introduce people to not just the sport, but the science and the passion of it too. So I highly recommend it. Anyways, as for the topics at hand, if they make Wilder a franchise champion, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. He's been the longest one that we've had ever since Vitaly retired. Obviously, the fact that he's here in America, he's fairly popular. I wouldn't be surprised. Because to be honest with you, do you guys think, especially in that time, they would have even considered making Vitaly a franchise champion?
Wait, hold on. Sorry, repeat that because I was reading something. You're saying like back in the day, if franchise champions were around, would they have made Vitaly one? Yeah, they would have.
I don't know, man. Considering the reputation that they had, especially as the fighters, I know that Vitaly's is a little better than Vladimir's. I would have been surprised if they did. I feel that because it's Wilder, it makes more sense to me, but I guess I could see why too. But honestly, it's just a bunch of stupid shit, you know. I think it's pointless talk. I think it's just wait for them to start following the route of the WBA and get whatever sanctioning fees they want to get from their champions or fighters or whatever. And it is just really pointless, you know. We're going to be entering into a clusterfuck where, you know, fighters still care about having something to recognize them as champions and whatnot. And we're already at this point where, honestly, if we're looking at fighters, we're looking at what have you done for us? Because that's what we look at them as. What have you done for us? What have you done lately? And what puts you in our eyes as a credible either fighter, champion in our minds, or what is it that lets us say, yeah, you're one of the top 5 or top 10 best out there, you know? Because to be honest, just being a talent doesn't mean nothing anymore. It really doesn't.
Agree.
I just wish the fighters would understand that. But like, people don't really care what belt you have. They care about what your resume looks like, all of that stuff. Like at the end of the day, like people aren't going to talk about Wilder being a WBC champion for 6 years or whatever when he retires. They're going to go, yeah, well, who all did he really fight? Did he fight the best of the best? Because that's what people remember about Ali and Foreman and Frazier and all those guys. But you're not going to talk to a lot of people who would know what all titles that they held or anything. They'd know that those fights happened and that they were awesome and that they fought the best people they could in front of them. You know, like, I don't know.
Like, think about this, Santiago. You asked boxing fans what belt was on the line for Sugar Ray Leonard versus Roberto Duran 1. Like, I guarantee you, if you line 10 boxing fans up, 1 knows that answer.
I'd probably be that one, if I'm being honest with you.
I was going to say, Santi, that 1 in the 10.
Yeah, no, you're right. Honestly, it all became very diluted once we started getting other belts getting added on. You know, like for me, I always held a certain significance to the WBC and the WBA because they'd been around since the days of the 80s and the 70s and whatnot. But like we're right now at a point in age in this point where the belts are trinkets. They are exactly what a trinket means in the dictionary. They're just there, you know. Yeah, it looks nice on you. You know, Mike Tyson made it look good for him back then. But really, at the end of the day, it's the fighters that are going to put any meaning back in those belts if they really wanted to have any meaning. There is no way in hell that itself is going to have the same effect it was when a guy like James J. Braddock won it, when a guy like Dick Tiger won it, when a guy like Stanley Ketchel won it, you know. When they won it, it did something. There was a prestige to it, you know. And even with Tyson Fury going about being like constantly promoting the fact that he's the lineal heavyweight champion, it's taking away from the whole point of the whole, it's the man who beat the man who beat the man. You know, it means nothing now because it's being made into a joke. So honestly, for me, I really want one of these fighters to just look at it as like, I'm going to fight the best out there. I'm going to prove myself as one of the best fighters out there. Titles be damned, you know. That's what made me like Keith Thurman in the first place, you know, because Keith Thurman wasn't of that Floyd Mayweather mindset where like everyone was trying to be undefeated. Everybody was trying to take the undefeated route, keep that O intact, and win however they could, you know. That slogan was so catchy for me, where he would say like, "I've got to know, and I'm not afraid to let it go." Unfortunately, I think that he's falling victim into the whole fact that he is undefeated. It does hold some kind of semblance to him, and honestly, I just hope that, you know, come next week, he puts on a good performance with Manny Pacquiao. I found out that the fight's going to be in theaters, so I'm definitely looking forward to catching that in theaters and not paying the $60 to watch it at home.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay this $75 to watch at home.
Damn.
Anyways, man, that's really all I got to say about that. I'll obviously be here for the preview show for this Saturday's fights. I've been looking forward to that ever since Kameda hinted at it. So if there's any other callers, or if by chance Gary called in, Gary, I really hope if you're listening, you call in, because we don't want to lose you, man. You got some fun calls sometimes. I can't believe I was first. I even saw you in the chat. Take it easy. Everyone that's listening into the show, share, subscribe. These guys, even when Matt's sick, are always putting in the work. They're always grinding. They're always trying to give us the best news, and we should show them some love and support so that Matt can at least rest easy, knowing that when he's sitting there thinking he's on the verge of death, he's appreciated.
Thank you. That's what it felt like this week.
Really my God, you even got your friends being hyperbolic for you.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, it felt like I was going to die, okay? I'm sorry. I'm calling Gary again. Oh, Gary doesn't want to take the call, guys. I'm sorry.
That's an asshole.
Damn, Gary.
Sorry, guys. I apologize.
What? Well,
I don't know what I did to him. Maybe it was the verbal beatdown that I gave him yesterday on the Patreon show. You know, maybe he needs some rest, you know? That was pretty vicious.
Dude, we all gave him work yesterday on the Patreon show. he took a big L yesterday on all that.
Harry was one of the scared Americans that didn't want to play my game.
That was a bad game. We're not playing it now. We're not playing it any time ever. Digressing. We're going to be taking off right now. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Final thoughts. Boxing kind of sucks. Look out for a new YouTube channel coming soon that will be on everything other than boxing. You think I'm joking? I'm not. I'm not joking. Rob.
Oh, what are we going to do? What, are we going to do that rock one you said about?
Okay. Hold on. Let me stop the music here. Serious talk here. We're going to have a boardroom meeting live on the air, okay? I do have not access. I did create another YouTube channel a while back. Remember when that whole shit happened, right? So we do have an MCR Network YouTube channel that has nothing on it, nothing's there. You can probably look it up right now on MCR Network, and you can find a blank channel.
Wait, that used to be MCR Net, right?
No. This used to be MCR Net, and then it got switched back to Mixed Combat Radio. Right. MCR Network is a separate channel, and it's set up like the right way, unlike this channel. So I have 100% thought about moving things like Trending Now, Hipsters Music Reviews, and stuff like that to that channel, expanding that, and Mixed Combat Radio to be our boxing channel and a subsidiary of MCR Network. But guys, I've thought about that, and that's why I say I'm not joking. Rob, how you guys doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Welcome to the show. What do you mean? How am I doing?
I'm just saying.
Wait,
doing?
this one? Is it like a weird little circular logo with a triangle in it?
It should be blank, you know, like that. You know, like a blank avatar would be. Like,
It's
you know
the
what
Illuminati one.
I mean? The Illuminati one.
I can't find it. Can you send it me? I want to find it.
AOBZ saying Matt's gonna talk about West Coast rap. Not only West Coast rap. Okay.
God. I've got some. I know something.
Big Crit.
Rob's going to talk about West Coast rap with us.
Big Crit's about to drop an album, and his last song or single was fucking fire, and he's from like the South. So like, come on, what are you talking about?
Exclusive for our listeners. I've got a little soundbite of it.
I'm so damn amazing, you thought I was fucking blazing.
There you go. So
that is
such
like
a deep cut. Such a deep
disrespectful too.
You know what's funny is that Rob has a deep like hip hop comedy cut right there that in like 20 years no one's gonna remember but us three.
Yeah,
and I'm so happy.
It mean more to us than anybody, just because it's a funny soundbite. I gotta get the other one back where he went on a like real ad lib.
Oh, that was a good part. That was a real good part.
The whole thing is good, honestly. Like I wish we could just play the whole song. So good.
I'm surprised you don't have Joshua rapping on your soundboard somewhere.
No, why would I do that? It's
because it's bad. It's really bad.
Yeah, he's not even top 5 heavyweight anymore. Why would I have him on there?
Ooh.
Yeah, good. You know, he hasn't got lineal pipes. You know what I mean?
I can spend my life in this sweet surrender.
But yeah, you know, everybody, you know, thanks for being in the chat. Hit that thumbs up, share the show, usual stuff. UK Rob, MCR, Instagram and Twitter. Hopefully there'll be some like, I don't know, like good news or fun news or
Rob, you really didn't address my whole like MCR network idea, and I feel kind of hurt about that.
Right.
Like,
yeah, what do you want to do on it? I don't know. I thought you were going to be talking about Matt's gaming channel.
No, that's hilarious. Remember that?
Yeah.
But you know what? Now, actually, that I figured out the technology a little better, I could do it. I could probably do it.
Green screen shit, right? You can start.
Yeah, I could do a lot more at that. You're right. But anyways,
just can't be bothered.
I'm honest, guys. This is just an honest moment here for me.
Oh.
Boxing is frustrating. It's a very frustrating industry, and it's a very limited industry. I don't like being limited in what I can do. There's a lot that I like, a lot I care about, so I do want to expand what it is we do. So do expect that in the next few months. That
I think we need to keep this board meeting off the airwaves.
I'm just saying.
We're up to something hot right now.
Oh,
yeah.
We don't want name redacted getting a hint of it. Trying to catch our vibe again.
Look, obviously you and Fu, you know, I'll probably be sleeping. You can do some, I don't know, weird American type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, hip hop and what else do you do? Oh, politics and shit like that.
Yeah, there's a lot we could do. I want to do a lot of movie and TV reviews and stuff like that. I love that shit.
Yeah, I'm down. I don't know what sound bites and shit like that we're allowed to get away with when you're talking. I don't know. TV.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get copyrighted a few times before we iron out the crinkles, but yeah. So yeah, there you go, everybody. Little sneak peek.
Phil.
About Phil.
What?
What you want to talk about?
Yeah, your social media. What do you want to talk about?
Bugatti MCR,
How you doing?
all that over there. And you know what? I just want to say, like, I don't give a shit if it bothers people that we don't like men who abuse women or get in street fights when they're professional athletes and all that shit. If you don't like it, you don't have to be there. You don't have to listen. It's a beautiful fucking thing about freedom. Do whatever you want. You don't have to be here.
He says wearing Martin's t-shirt.
Yeah. From Journeys, circa 2003. No.
Wow.
I don't know what Journeys is, but anyways.
At the shoe store.
That Journeys. Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, you meant don't stop
believing.
No, that's the best Journey. Yeah.
Anyways, guys. Bye. Have a good day. Peace.
Later.
Stay off the weed. That's stupid. Use your common sense.
I'm Phil. I'm very Phil.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Fuck that shit. Fuck boxing. You disrespect boxing, you piece of shit?
Hey, pussy, are you still there?